defenders in FC 24. One of the harder videos I've had to put together. Both fullbacks and center backs. One video. We're choosing 10 and some extra helpers. I asked you on Twitter. The opinions were everywhere. Feelings are going to be hurt. There's a comment section. Please let your voice be heard. If you're new, it is free to subscribe. Happy holidays to everyone. We appreciate you in these FC streets. Honorable mentions. Alphonso Davies, the Canadian Dream. Meta is with the man. This is not a Star Wars remake, but the Bundesliga representative will terrorize you down the wing. Add in a few play styles, not an unreasonable price point, not cheap. Not that this has anything to do with value. 6'1", I swear that he's gotten taller. High-low work rates, that's not new. You see the statistics, the allocation, the athleticism. The man's giving you a full offering. Not that it's needed for this cheetah print. We have Quick Step as a playstyle plus. You've got Trivela, Rapid, and Jockey, which is still one of my favorite defensive playstyles that gets overlooked. Raphael Varane just sounds like a superhero. And I can't deny talent when talent is that legitimate. And my personal experience, he performs for yours truly. Wait till you witness some of the names that I'm leaving off. We will spark some emotion in this video. I say that to say this. Varane is someone that I have the utmost belief in. I'm following the FIFA religion. 6'3", does not have the skills, the weak foot. You would assume that he's going to be high-key clunky and there's going to be questions around the dribbling and the turning. I can't explain it. If you've played with him in previous years, if anything, adding play styles, I don't even know if it benefited him. I would argue Varane was better before play styles, but he does have 5 defensive play styles. Jockey, intercept, anticipate on a play style plus, slide tackle, and bruiser. Because why not? And he's not losing anything in the air. No chance. I cannot believe this man is not in the top 10. I've said my piece. Laurent Blanc. And hear me out, because his longevity, his consistency, his reliability, the SBC introduction was 7-8 weeks ago. He's still giving you the utmost deliverables. He competes versus the best icons and heroes, promo items. I wouldn't feel justified if I left him off some sort of list or mention. He's accomplished enough. He's put together a career. And to my right hand to the sky, we're sending out vows. I understand if you start making a case, not Sherlock Holmes, that Laurent Blanc is getting caught up to. There are more players that are competitive. And that's why I've got him in the mentions as opposed to being in the finalized grouping. But for what he's already achieved, I can't look past it. Takes space, recovers well, large and in charge body type, makes interceptions. He's wonderful if you move him. He's also wonderful or destructive if he's AI assisted. You cannot deny or tell me you have not been impressed with Blanc this year. We have Selma, Bacha, the cheapest and the best value of any player on my list. And when it's all said and done, we will look back at Bacha and say she was one of the best pickups or spends for a return of investment in the entirety of the game cycle. That's how I feel. She's done too much to not be in reoccurring conversations. High work rates, 4-star skills. We've put up 136 games with Bacha. My offensive production could be so much better. Whipped pass for a playstyle plus, and her vision, especially when I go up against people that are using Bacha, it's unbelievable. I do have a couple critiques, which is what kept her out of the top 10. Bacha defensively could be better, and I actually feel you get the most out of her in some sort of almost winger role, or if you were playing a 5 at the back, which I'm not condoning or co-signing, but that overlapping deliver and counter press makes sense. Even her recovery speed, I could be asking for a little bit more, but you cannot take away from her output and her influence this year. Last of the honorable mentions, and you might not be happy about this, especially not if you're a Chelsea or an Arsenal supporter. We have the greatest left back in Premier League history, Ashley Cole, and with a significant upgrade. EA could have chosen a better dynamic image. We can all agree. I think we can all agree. Plenty of stats in the right places. 5'9", unfortunately 3-star skills and a 2-star weak foot, which does limit Ashley Cole to a certain degree. 73 strength, not the strongest. And I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm just trying to give some reasoning as to my choice. I've gone up against Ashley Cole. I've used this item. High-end play styles. And if you chatted with me individually or in the comment sections, I love jockey as a playstyle and a playstyle plus. This is where I have him. At number 10, and one of the new faces to England, Reece James. And this item is fantastic. A man amongst boys. Statuesque. And I'm not talking about that Ronaldo statue. Whoever did that should be ashamed. If you want to make this festive, we can call this Santa Claus James. 'Tis the season. 5'10", physical, serious business. The pace has been upgraded dramatically, which would be the critique from his previous iteration, or the baseline. 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot, the passing, even the dribbling and the balance, the physicality, the defending numbers. He's got it all. 87 strength for a fullback. And of course, jockey as a playstyle plus, which helps his side-to-side movement like you wouldn't believe. At number 9, and you're not helping yourself with some price points, but we have Roberto Carlos, also known as the original Himothy. Free kicks you'll never forget. OG of all OG overlapping attacking fullbacks, that Brazilian flair. It's difficult to critique players with this type of status symbol. If you want to discuss his height, I'll hear the argument. But again, his body type's a little more stocky, so he doesn't feel as undersized. He's not one of those lean builds. If anything, you could ask for more skills or the weak foot, maybe a discount. One of the best return to sender. Here's your refund. Recovery speed fullback. It's a lovely collective. At number 8, we've seen him on the pitch and now also in the managerial role. He's known as a footballer with quite the IQ. We have Vincent Kompany.
Has a go! Oh, what a moment!
The Marvel items are, of course, in packs or on the marketplace. 6'3", medium-high work rates. Not light, not small. Plenty of gifted material. Headbutts, he's never lost. Is that a reference towards headers in an ignorant American way? Perhaps. The mix of play styles. And I might overemphasize, but it does matter. Power header, aerial, bruiser, slide tackle, playstyle plus and anticipate, and block. Good luck. The man's like a tank that can fly. Maybe that would be a heavy-duty fighter jet. It probably already exists. We don't know where we're going to take this tonight. Hashtag organics. At number 7, we've got the likes of Teo Hernandez. Straight edge speed at the top levels. Without the ball, we're talking same speed as Mbappe. That's how he feels. And also French and a similar size. I repeat, without the ball. Never tired and never not fast. Those are the two major takeaways. A bit of a larger fullback, 6 foot tall, 4-star skill moves. That's an upgrade we can get behind. We can support that. The pace speaks for itself. And then you have basically 80s across the board. And if you know me, which I'd like to think that you do, when it comes to fullbacks, I don't necessarily care about them scoring goals, their shooting statistics. His are okay, but in general, rule of thumb, I don't score a bunch of goals with my fullbacks, but they are crucial to both the chase back, the defending, being able to knock down and be physical enough with some of the top line or the top flight attackers, and then push the ball forward. I need to be able to innovate, to create. Whip it in, crosses, switch in the pitch. They keep the play alive. If defense is your game, Teo is the name. I thought that was going to come out way smoother. My apologies. Felt dad joke-like. At number 6, Carlos Alberto, El Capitano, the best combo defender in the game. Whether you want a center back or a fullback, in both circumstances, he will do the job at the highest level, the highest degree. You'll salute this man. And that can't be said about many. When you talk about multiple positions between defensive roles, most center backs aren't fast enough to be a fullback. Most fullbacks aren't physical enough to be a center back. This is the difference maker. As it stands at 5'11", has some Koundé similarity, an upgraded version, and I typically would play him out wide. But depending how you orchestrate the formation that you're playing, the counter press or the defensive support, we might have plenty of room for negotiation. 4-star weak foot, 3-star skill moves, above average size-wise for a fullback, undersized for a center back, greens across the board, matching the Brazilian flag. There's not that much controversy. I think the majority of you will support and have a certain level of appreciation for Carlos Alberto. At number 5, his brother from another mother. We're keeping that Brazilian theme, Cafu, who you knew would be up in a rotation sooner than later. This is my type of fullback. highly desirable. Brand new upgrade, which is a nice little extra check. Send out the calendar invite, the RSVP. When I analyze the majority of fullbacks, I like them in that 5'9", 5'10" range where they still feel as if they're close to the ground. There's a certain level of gravity which impacts the turning just naturally. I guess the body type would also play a factor. He's a Brazilian doing Brazilian things. I know, quite an analytical breakdown. Pace, passing, dribbling, defending, physical. Definitely a thumbs up. And I'll reiterate, because you might see the 58 shooting. How many of you really score a bunch of goals with your fullbacks? If you're lucky, perhaps they step into space and give you a couple looks for an outside of the foot trivela. But I refuse to believe that you are bursting forward and scoring a bunch of goals with your wingbacks on a regular basis. At number 4, and I owe this man an apology, I made a video a few days back. I put him into rank 1. The comments erupted. I put him back into motion in my team. He is indeed broken, and it starts with the body type. His shoulders just keep getting wider, and his V-taper is unrealistic. 6'4", the Dutchman is built like a brick house, but still has maneuverability. That's a rare combination. Stats are difficult to read into. You might say the pace and question some of the side to side when you look at the dribbling, but it comes together properly. My belief is relatively straightforward. Power header, aerial, playstyle plus, bruiser, anticipate, block, and jockey. I can't name a better center back for aerial pursuit. Defensively, offensively, he doesn't lose any of that. At number 3, and I will not hear any more Maldini slander. I often feel that narrative has been created from players or consumers that don't have Maldini, haven't put him into a rotation, didn't give him the opportunity. He has something icon-esque about him. Well, technically he is an icon. The Italian deserves better ratings, higher stats, larger upgrades, but as it stands, I like this position for Maldini. And you might question, what would you improve? In my humble opinion, I believe Maldini deserves better dribbling and better physicality, especially for a 93 overall. Hand to the sky. Also, EA should have provided more than 3 play styles for Maldini. This just seems far too regular. Either way, he outperforms in game. Let me know if you've used him. I'm listening. I'd love to hear your feedback and your thoughts. And if you're gonna move players around, which you likely will, let me know your personal list so I can also critique, or we can critique. We can have that conversation, that dialogue. At number 2, we have Lucio, the Conqueror. Is there a center back with a better track record? In the past 15 updates or patches, Lucio has always came out with consistency, continuity, overpoweredness. He's responsive. He has the track record, proof of concept. He's a veteran in the scene, and he hasn't even been there that long. And he doesn't have a Marvel upgrade. We saw this last year as well. Every single iteration, dominant, dangerous. I'm adding in the word deceptive, disgusting. We can read through the stats. They look good, but they're just better. They're even improved. He's leading the back line. I'm talking Braveheart. I'll follow this man anywhere. Trusted, long-term, there's a guarantee. Playstyle plus for block, and expect additional upgrades throughout the year. He's not done at an 89. At number 1, and it feels unanimous, and it might depend if you're looking for a center back or a fullback. We have Ferland Mendy. Seriously, who's better than Mendy? He's the fastest. He's one of the strongest. He's the most athletic. He's size appropriate. He's equal-footed. They gave him the skill moves. You bought the toy and it came with all the accessories. How should I critique? This man should not be allowed to get any better. We're already hitting team of the season territory. High work rates, which personally I appreciate. I like effort. And then look at this. The man has a 90 physical before chemistry style, 96 pace, 80s across the board for passing and dribbling and defending. If anything, it's not the best collective of play styles, but I have no negatives for Ferland Mendy. And over the years, I don't know if there is a more overpowered player. His entry-level item, each and every iteration, dynamic, explosive, and unstoppable. And we've seen this trend before. Get an upgrade. It's December. We got Ultimate Dynasties. I'll never forget the December foot miss. Mendy, 85 overall, was not cheap as an SBC, and he just went on. It's the gift that kept giving. Or the Summer Heat edition of Mendy. Every damn season. If we date back a couple years, the early 83 overall, baseline, all gold, no upgrades, nothing special. He lasted 5-6 months before you had to upgrade him. It's unbelievable. Technically, that's my top 15. We did 10 plus the honorable mentions. Let me know your thoughts. There's going to be plenty of names that you feel should have been mentioned. I just want to know, who am I taking off? Who are we swapping? I think my points are just. They have credibility, logistics, gameplay, experience. Also a second channel if you want more of that on display. It's linked down below. And I look forward to us having that back and forth. I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.